Hey guys, Rogue Nation here with you, and I got an update to Superman's Balls video, and it's going to be a decently long video. There's a lot to go over. This gentleman's story is more typical than most people would come to think. Um, it's a sad story, and when I talk to people, I always say that the state is able to take anything and everything from us, up to and including our own lives, and face no consequences whatsoever. And this story pretty much illustrates that in a roundabout way. Now, thankfully, Valentino's still alive. Hopefully, he stays that way. He is in custody right now. We'll go over all that. I have been in touch with his father. I got his number, and we've been conversing back and forth along with other members of the community and him to try to get a more full picture of exactly what's going on. So I'm going to start out by saying that this started about a year and a half ago, May 21st, 2022. And as you can see from the videos on our screen here, which will give you a link to Valentino's channel again, it's Know Your Target and Beyond. He's got about 7,000 subscribers. And you want to go check out his videos, right? Because what it shows you is that this guy is a very loving father. This is his son. He's 3.5 years old at the time of these videos taken. And these are home videos of his home life, his animals. He keeps exotic animals, cats, and birds, as you can see. Just seems like a really great guy, really good father, and the state took all that away from him. And we're going to let him tell his story about the raid, or at least part of it. Here in just a couple minutes, you'll see that video. I will link for the full video, because you definitely should watch the full video. And this gentleman's had trouble ever since this has occurred to him. They took his son, they took his animals, they put him in jail on some real BS charges. And again, he's got a live stream up, telling the whole story. He's got an audio recording of the arrest. It's over 40 minutes long. We're not going to play the whole thing. Definitely check it out on his channel. It's definitely something that you'll want to see and hear for yourself. Because again, this happens all too frequently, right? And because it doesn't happen to us per se, we fall into the normalcy bias of thinking that it doesn't happen, or if something happens, maybe somebody did something to make it happen or to deserve it to happen, and that's definitely not the case. And again, we need more people documenting everything, such as this gentleman has done, and what other people are now starting to do. But we're going to go ahead and get in and play the video for you guys, and we'll talk to you here a little bit more as we go through. We've got a couple of videos to show. There's a lot to the story. So, and at the very end, we're going to have some public records that we need requested. And so we're coming to the community to see if we can help get these records that we're requesting. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Alright guys, let's get into the video.
Alrighty then. Now, the next picture here is at 9:19 a.m. And this shows the condition of the home, well, how it was in a general way. And as you might note, it ain't no crime to have a smattering of sawdust on your floor, especially when you're dealing with the issues we had to deal with, uh, which were honestly a lot of water leaking out of these pipes. And one of the only ways for me to get it clean and make it smell nice again and truly sanitize it was to throw sawdust on the floor and then sweep it up and then take those sweepings and sawdust, all that stuff, and throw it out in the backyard where we could use it as fertilizer in the garden or in the backyard. All right, go ahead and note this is before this on the exact day before the raid, and this contradicts everything that the lying criminal cops had to say about it. And the time of this is now 9:19 a.m., about 8 hours before this all went down. This right here is one of the cats that I had that the man asked me to babysit. Now, the name of the gentleman who had begged me to babysit, or keep these cats rather, and I had only agreed to babysit him, his name was Ephraim Duran, or Ephraim Duran. He was in breach of contract with these cats, and the reason why he was wanting me to take care of them was because he was worried that the people he had breached contract with were going to come and take his cats. This video at 10:23 a.m. on the same day shows my son Valentino sitting in just sitting in a little kitty cat basket. Now this is in the patio area, and in the patio area it was outside, covered over, and made into a private area so that the cats could have a shady space with lots of areas to roam and climb and just be cats. And obviously you see here sawdust and wood chips. And again, sawdust and wood chips are a sanitary measure, and these are not an unsanitary measure like the criminal police had said in their report. This here is, again, still the same area, and as you see what I'm talking about, made a beautiful den sort of area for them to roam around in so they could be cats. Now here we are on the inside, and as you see, there are some wood chips, some shavings on the floor, but again, it's not a crazy amount, and there are not feces and urine everywhere, as was stated by the copies. This happened by one of the cats that I was babysitting. One of them got a little bit rowdy and broke up a fight, and that happened to me. Here's my June bug sitting with his drum set in the living room. Now again, I dare you to judge me because that's just wood chips and sawdust on the floor, and by golly, I'll be damned if I didn't love seeing my kids spread these things around and having a great time throwing sawdust and wood chips on the floor. Smells great and it's fun to spread around, and if you ain't never done it before, you don't know what you're missing. And if you judge people who like to do this sort of thing and they see this as a sanitary measure and they understand how it smells good and helps you keep a place clean, well, darn it, you know what? I don't think you have a place to stand on, or I don't think you have legs to stand on when you make those judgments. Alrighty, here you are seeing a very happy kid with his kitten and his drum set. And obviously, yes, wood chips and sawdust, which are in no means illegal and in no means a threat or danger to human life. And I'd like to point out, there ain't no feces or piss nowhere. Here's a couple of the kittens, a couple more, one more. Now you see all the cats are in really beautiful, perfect shape. It's important for you to notice that now because the sergeant who came out there with those two thug pigs, she makes a statement on the record that says, these animals look really great and my son looks good and happy as well. And I'd just like to ask y'all, where are these feces you're talking about? And what crazy person thinks they can judge me for letting my kid throw sawdust on the floor, or for even having the idea to throw sawdust on the floor to sweep out all of the bacteria and moisture that accumulated from all the leaking pipes and crap that the slumlord would not fix. Here he is watering the tree in the front yard. 11:07 a.m. Here we are at 11:08, and there's some more cute kitties. That piece of art there is another piece my son painted there. I thought y'all would like to see that. Take note that this is all on the same day of that darn raid. And now, here we are. This is 5 minutes before we got home and found Efrain Duran burglarizing the home where we lived. We were just at the grocery store picking up groceries and snacks. You see him drinking one of his favorite beverages, the Calypso Blue Lemonade. And now here we just move right on into the part where...
None whatsoever.
Sir, are you going to open the gate or what?
I will go and see if I can find the cat, and I will come back out here if I can find you. Will you please be so kind?
All right. We come to that point because after the police arrived, or after those two thug pigs arrived, I told them the exact situation. I told them precisely what happened there, what I saw Duran doing, how I knew Duran in the first place, and what I believed he was there to get back was most likely just his cats, but I had no idea if he had intended on burglaring other things or if he had taken things and put them in the house, like planted evidence for the cops in there, which... Getting all the way through the story, we are going to discover how closely connected Duran is to those cops and exactly why he was there in the first place. Now, I told them about the agreement to babysit the cats for 3 weeks and how Duran had come by after 3 days to go burglarize the house when I was gone, when I had explicitly asked him to just stay gone for 3 weeks and just let it be until 3 weeks. And I had explained to those two pigs that I wasn't even certain that Duran was the rightful owner of the cats, because I knew for certain he brought them to me because he was worried that the people he had purchased them from were going to take them from him for breach of contract. That being stated, the cops then told me that if I didn't just run back in and get those cats and bring them outside and put them in Duran's car, that they were going to charge me with grand larceny and then come back with CPS and take my kid and get a warrant and search the house and just throw me in jail for whatever. And no sooner did they say that than I told them, you're welcome to go and get that warrant, but don't you ever make a threat against my son again, or that'll be the last thing you do. And no sooner did I say that than this guy right here, his name being Kent Watson, he decides he's going to break into my place, just break and enter like a crazy maniac on drugs, which is what he was. And now you're going to see how he puts my son's life in danger.
And not to try and break through my gate and rudely enter my property without any... This guy.
At this point, I was going to walk in the house, get inside, and lock the door with me and my son, because I knew they didn't have a warrant and they weren't allowed to come in. Here they go. There's my son on my leg. Here they go, throwing me on the ground. And obviously that's the end of the clip, because they threw me on the ground, chicken winged me, and my phone hit the ground and stopped recording at that moment. Right after that, they cuffed me up and they threw me in the back of the paddy wagon. Once I was cuffed up and in the back of the paddy wagon, they sat there and waited for, they talked to Duran for a little bit, and then they waited until George Daniel shows up. George Daniel, aka the slumlord's representative. That is the owner of the house, of the property's son. Now, they then talk or collude with Daniel, George Daniel, and then they bring me out of the car, make some other threats to me, and then they demand to see where my son sleeps. And I showed them exactly where he slept, which was right here. That's where he slept, and that's what they saw. Now, hey, I appreciate y'all guys tuning in, by the way. I appreciate Rogue Nation, and yes, you're welcome, and I thank you all for your support and your prayers. And, you know, that means a lot. Well, anyways, after that, they called animal control, and at a certain point, there was George Daniel, there was the Apple Valley Police sergeant, or it might have been even one of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department sergeants, and there was these two crooked deputies, Kabluian and Watson, and while I was in my home after they took me out of the paddy wagon and uncuffed me and forced me to show them where my son sleeps, and they asked me, made me show them like around the house and what else we had in there, including the jungle room and where all the birds and the other exotic pets were. I went to record them. I picked up my phone to start videotaping the whole thing because I wasn't under arrest and there was no probable cause for them to have been in there, and they did not have a warrant. So this was all happening illegally, and I realized at that moment that it was happening illegally. So I took my phone to start recording, and Kabluian pulls his gun, points it at me, and says, "Put that camera down." So obviously I'm not trying to get murdered in front of my son, and I put the camera down. However, the thing I did not do was stop recording, and what I did instead was I hit this voice memos button, and I recorded this clip right here, all audio, which is called Recording of Cops at 13396 Cuyamaca Road, Apple Valley, California. That is the address where this all went down. Now we're going to take a listen, and we're going to dissect all this audio. And it goes in to 49 minutes and 46 seconds. At certain times I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to interject, and we will hear everything. And this is the truth, that they had no idea I was recording while they were inside my home illegally, without warrant and without probable cause, along with the slumlord himself. Here we go, guys. Hope y'all enjoy. My name is Valentino Vanderbilt, and I made this recording on the premises of 13396 Cuyamaca Road on the date of 05/21/2022, otherwise known as May 21st, 2022. The following is the entire audio from that I was able to record myself from the night that my home was wrongfully invaded without a search warrant, and when I was also wrongfully tricked into being arrested, also known as being kidnapped, by one K. Watson, also known as Kevin Watson of the SBSD. Later that evening, while I was still watching from the car, my son was also kidnapped by one Jonathan Millard of the San Bernardino County CPS. The recording is as followed. Okay. Would you like to read this book with me, Big Split Boy? Okay. At that point, you're hearing my voice as I'm trying to comfort my son, because he could see he was distressed, and what he was witnessing was the same things I was witnessing. And I had just purchased him a new National Geographic magazine or book, as he called them. And he loved to read those things, and I wanted to read him from there to try to distract him from the horror of what was going on in front of his face as they were assaulting some of our animals after they had assaulted me and him. A search warrant. And when I was also wrongfully tricked in Do you want to read, Jenny?
Since the Beatles.
Yeah.
With the band is Beatles. That's Bucky Beatles.
Blue. Come here, bub. You want to take your jacket off? June, bub. Would you like to take your jacket off? Mm-hmm. Come here. Come here, let me help you. You good? Don't swing there, son. No, no. Look at this, buddy. The laurel forest of Madeira, the Portuguese archipelago in the North Atlantic, is inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage List, in part because the trees support many endemic species, including more than 70 plants and the Madeira laurel pigeon, growing at an altitude ranging from 1,000 to 5,000 feet. The laurel is found in the ribbon of mist that frequently wraps the upper ranges of the islands, creating the cloud forests of the temperate zone. I am drawn to the serenity and sheer beauty of pristine nature. Being in it heightens my perceptions and nerves my focus. As I concentrate to the surroundings, an inner stillness fills me and helps me capture a sense of place. This was the case when I packed my camera equipment and ventured into some of Europe's old growth forests to highlight these unique environments that have remained intact for centuries.
Okay. The animals look well taken care of, though, sir. They look well taken care of.
All right, now that female voice you're hearing right there is the sergeant they brought out with them. And later on, you're going to hear her say that my son looks very happy. Now remember, according to their story, they found him sleeping alone. Now, I wasn't here, apparently. According to them, I was gone. My son was at home alone, sleeping on a urine-soaked mattress in a closet. The evidence points to the contrary of that. And so does their sergeant's own statement when she had no idea she was being recorded. Mind you, according to California law, all cops have to have their body cameras on as of 2016, and this is 2022. None of these pigs showed up with body cameras. all of them were in breach of California state law, and all of them were committing felonies by being in my home performing a search without warrant and without probable cause after having let go a man who was a burglar. The burglar that was called, that they received the call for, they let go. They returned him what he said was property, which, as we all are aware of, this was stolen property, which he was in breach of contract on from the people he had been in contract with to purchase those cats from. So already we see a very starkly contrasting picture in the truth as opposed to what the lies were told when they made up their false statements.
So, and Animal Control says they contacted you a couple times regarding the animals, yeah?
I believe I got a note on my door once saying that they needed to see my rabies tag for my dog.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. So what kind of cats do we have? I know we have some different breeds here.
Now this guy talking, right, was, let's see, the man talking there, he's the guy who is in charge of the animal control for Apple Valley, California there. And he's just asking about what kind of animals they are. And later on, he's going to make a contract with me to have a caregiver come in and take care of the animals in the case that something has happened to me. And then he's going to breach the contract. So we have 4 adults, and between those adults recently, they had some babies. And at the same time, this recession inflation thing happened, which means that I have to hang on to babies longer before people are able to adopt them or
He's asking what kind of breed.
Oh, what kind of breeds they are. Breeds are irrelevant. These questions are irrelevant. The fact that they're in there is, again, it's unconstitutional. It's a crime for these guys to be in my home, searching the place and asking me questions. As far as I know, they're just a mixture of Bengal cats.
Bengals?
Yeah, and Savannah cats. So those are supposed to be a hybrid.
Right.
They look cool and stuff, and they stink. I'll give you I love them, but I gotta admit, they stink like cray-cray, and I work my butt off scooping poop.
And we have one dragon out there.
There's 2 dragons.
There's 2 dragons?
There's a boy and a girl.
We got 2 dragons.
But so whoever that is down there acting like a pig down there saying, Bing, OMG, this was all about his clandestine cat deals. FFS. And Bing. I'm not sure how to take your comments right now. You know, I'd ask you just to settle on down there and listen to the story. Don't jump to any conclusions, if you would, please. So, settle down. Listen to the story. Don't jump to conclusions. There, the kittens. There was two moms. They had the two females. Their sisters. They synced up. And then the one mom got bitten by a spider, like I think it was a widow spider. And so she's like, she can't nurse her kittens. So I have to.
She's the one with the limp?
She should be limping. It's pretty painful. But I have to hand feed all the kittens like 3 times a day, as well as like support the one mom. Thanks for the clarity there, Bing. Yeah, the dude that came to show up and take them. Yeah, this guy was named. A lot of people actually in Southern California are aware of him and knew about what he did, and yeah, he has a pretty bad rap. The name is Efrain Duran. He sold a lot of Savannah cats for way under market because, well, He was doing it cheaply, he wasn't feeding them right, and he was overbreeding them in order to support his whatever his addiction was. But yeah, instead of waiting for the cats to recover and be cared for 3 weeks time, as I told him I was going to do for him until he could, get on his feet and get clean, he decided to burglarize the place when I was gone. I mean, there was another. I mean, he obviously could have done it better if he really, really had to have those cats back that day. He could have just waited for me. He could have been cool about it. He could have been like, look, man, I'm sorry. I miss them too much, and I need them back. And I would have happily just gave them back to him. There's no reason to go burglarizing the place to get the cats back and then do whatever else he did in there. So sorry if I was a little hard on you, but just for everyone out there, let's try to hear the story in full and try to wait for all the pieces of evidence that I can show you before we get all excited. But yeah, I appreciate you being. It's in there.
What kind of birds do we have on the property?
This
I
one
saw-
here, she's my emotional therapy pet. She's a military macaw.
We got two.
And then there's 2 Amazons. And I see 5. Now at this moment, he's asking me to describe to him all the birds which we had in our jungle room. I'll show you guys some pictures and videos of the jungle room so y'all know what that was like as well, and so you can see how beautiful it was and how well cared for they were, and how much my son enjoyed the hell out of that little space we built together. And mind you, none of this stuff is illegal at all. It was all done absolutely legally. Nothing was in breach of contract whatsoever. And at that time, I didn't rightly know that. I didn't know at the time until I actually got back and found the notices and went to the inspector or the auditor's place and got confirmation on it. I didn't know that the place had been condemned. I had no idea that the state of California had deemed it unlivable before already. So yeah, at this point I'm describing to him all of the birds that we had in our jungle room.
Okay, guys, so you saw and you heard, what this all started over, right? He had offered to take care of some cats for this guy. This guy then decided 3 days later to come in and try to break into this guy's house. A neighbor had called the cops on the guy trying to break in this guy's house. This guy shows up, him and his kid, back from the store, and you got all these cops here, right? And they come inside the guy's house without a search warrant, searching the guy's home, interrogating this guy about all this stuff, when they had no reason to even be in the house. Now, they arrested this guy, and again, I'm not going to play the whole thing for you. It's like an hour and 50 minutes, but please go check it out. You'll definitely want to check it out. Link will be in the description, guys. And what they did was they kept the child inside the house. They forced this guy to go outside of the house, outside of the fence line. And when they did that, they got him for child neglect, child abandonment. Okay? Is what they arrested him for. And you can hear all that. He records the whole thing. Like I said, it's all on audio. As you can see, he's playing the audio for us in parts here and there. We don't need to listen to the whole thing. That's why I only put a short, portion of it in there. But definitely go listen to the very end of it where he's getting arrested and what they say, because it's very telling. The officers don't know they're being recorded. He does have some very telling portions of audio that pretty much make it seem just like retaliation on the arrest, because they knew that, or they should have known, that them even being in the house without his consent and searching and, asking questions was all illegal. All illegal. He didn't know that he could tell them to leave the property. He didn't know that he wasn't able to be forced off the property. And he'll talk about that, and he admits that. But it's just disgusting, this behavior that we see from our government upon us, right? Like, this guy probably never had to worry about a thug criminal in his life until the cops showed up at his door. Not even for him, right? Because somebody was breaking in his home, right? So that's how this all started. All right, then we get to the video which I showed a while back, Superman's balls. And what had happened at this particular time was he was out on some property camping in Montana, and he ran across a body dump, and they believe it to be a law enforcement body dump. And he took some people by there. He took his father by there to see this body that had been dumped there. And we believe that's why the response by the police that you saw in the video, like, they really wanted to take this guy out, right? Because he had seen too much. He knew too much. I don't know if they realized that he had taken other people by to see that body dump or not. But at the end of the video, it cuts off. They said they're letting him leave, and they did end up letting him leave. His father showed up, and they ended up letting him leave. Now, a couple weeks back, he's driving. He's in California. Cops following him, right? He's got a Tesla, so he's got cameras all around the car. He starts to live stream. You could see that the cops are following him for like a good 6-10 minutes before they initiate a stop. He's recording his speed limit. His driving's fine. He's not driving erratic. He's staying within the lines. He's staying within the speed limit. Cops following him. Finally, the cop hits his lights. And this guy says, you know what? I'm not going to stop. I'm just not going to do it. And again, I think he realizes that these guys have got it out for him because of, some of the information provided here in this video. And, him, honing in on that body dump, right? So they run him down. Okay, they throw out a stop sticks and disable 2 of his tires, and he ends up stopping. Now again, just like with the video I showed before, he doesn't get out of the car. He says, F that, F you guys, not getting out of the car, whatever. Well, they take a couple of shots at him. Okay, and this is on video. You can go check it out on this channel. I'll leave the description labeled, or I'll leave the video for that also labeled in the description below. So you can go right there if you want to see it. So, they arrest him, after they take a shot at him. They end up arresting him. They end up transporting him, I believe, 70 miles to a jail and putting him in the cell with a serial killer. Alright, so he makes it out of that. He ends up getting back up to Missouri. His family's from up there. His father's from up there. And you know, he was supposed to make it down to court in California. He told him, I said, you know, I don't have any way to get down there. He doesn't use Zoom for whatever reason. He just doesn't use Zoom. He asked if there any other way that he can attend the court hearing, you know, electronically without being on Zoom. They tell him no. He misses his court date, and they put out a warrant for him. Now, the video we're going to watch is only a minute long. It's his arrest for the warrant. They pull him over. Him, his father, and I believe his brother. Or somebody related in the family. I can't remember exactly. Because he's a young guy. He's like 17 years old. I do believe he might be adopted. I'm not totally sure on that part of the story. But when they pull these guys over, they do another felony stop. Guns drawn. Guns shoved in the 17-year-old's face. We don't get to see any of that on video. Like I said, the video is only a minute long. But it's just incredible how these people behave, right? And how they treat us. So this happened about 12 days ago. He's been in jail about 12 days now. They're looking to extradite him back to California. Obviously, when they pulled him over for the, when they shot through his window, supposedly they were trying to pull him over for tent. They thought his tents were too dark. Obviously, he got hit with other charges. Fleeing and eluding, I believe, and a couple other charges. So now they've posted new charges on him. I'm not totally sure what those are. I do have the information. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Okay, yes. So the new crimes are fugitive and threats in official and political matters, which has a $250,000 bond on it. Threats in official and political matters. So I'm not even sure what that's supposed to mean. And those are the new charges that are have been put on him. So definitely a whitewash by the government about the incidents, taking place within this guy's life. So, alright guys, without further ado, we'll show the arrest video, and then we'll show pictures. I've got a couple screenshots of what needs to be requested and what stuff. So, alright guys, we'll catch you on the next one, guys.
Show me the warrant. You have a warrant. And the warrant. Pick up my phone, Papa.
We'll get a bid. You want us to twist them down?
All right, man, stand up.
Right. On up.
Okay. Why is my hand burning? Why is it burning? Okay, now pick up my phone. Make sure you film that. Right there on the ground, my hand's burning. I don't know why. They're burning my hand for something. They're burning my hand. My hand is burning.
You want to maintain control of him? Thank you, sir. Why am I under control?
Because you're being attacked.
Okay, where's your camera on this?
It's right there. And there's one over there. Yeah, we got tons of cameras.
Dad, demand to see the warrant.
Take your hand in your pocket.
Can you see the warrant?
Huh?
Can we see the warrant?
Yeah, we'll show you here in a second, brother. Yeah, just get everyone. Keep your hand in your pocket. Please, thank you. You got anything in your pocket?
My hand's cold.
All right, I just want to make sure, man. All right, you can put your hand back in your pocket. That's fine. Here's his phone.